One of the things I would like to talk about is I would like to express my gratitude for my dear friend Sean and all his help that he gives me in writing mysteries and all the help he gives to every mystery writer out there. Because there is no way to come up with a plot without Sean's help. Sean stands for the different types of death. Suicide, S. Homicide, H. Accidental, A. Undetermined, U. Or natural, N. Those 5 distinctions are necessary for anybody to sit down and write a whodunit. Without one or the other of those, what's everybody looking for? So, is the unspoken central character, the victim, are they going to have met their end by suicide? Will they have been murdered? Will it be an accidental death that everybody is trying to cover up? Will it be something undetermined? Or will it be natural causes? One thing about a murder mystery is that there has to be a body. How they have reached that end when they were born with so much potential is up to the author to figure out. And to do that, they have not necessarily unlimited cast of characters because it can be way too burdensome to have too many people running around. But you have a very interesting cast of characters. You have the suspects, you have the murderers, you have the detectives, whether amateur or professional. You have the ones trying to figure it all out. You have the ones wondering why it happened. You have the ones that are left there trying to carry on and pick up the pieces. And you have the one that decided they were going to set the whole thing in motion to begin with. Now, obviously, suicide, there are various ways, get a hold of any medical book, any first aid book. We'll talk about different ways that you can accidentally do yourself in. Natural death, heart attack, old age, cancer, illness. Undetermined, they suddenly dropped dead. They were in perfect health, no toxicology, nothing. Or the evidence is just as sketchy and suggestive and definitive for a murder as it is for a suicide. That's something that can get you interested. Accidental death, as we talked about, can be like suicide. Eating the wrong food, taking too much medication, taking a wrong turn, driving over a cliff. There are all kinds of accidents that can result in your demise. But it's when you get to homicide that things can get very interesting. Not only are there a variety of ways to do it, which I'm not going to get into here because I do not want to be responsible for anybody's lack of judgment. But you have to deal with the different kinds of death as defined in the legal code. And there are a lot of nuances that I'm not going to get into because I'm also not a lawyer and I'm not going to be acting like I'm giving legal advice. But some of the basics are first-degree murder, second-degree murder, manslaughter. First-degree murder is when you made a choice that someone is going to shuffle off this mortal coil. You can decide to do it yourself. You can decide to hire somebody to do it. You can decide at the spur of the moment, this is how it's going to be. But any way you look at it, when there is a clear premeditation, a concrete decision that one character is going to eliminate another one, that is first-degree murder. Second-degree murder, that's when you didn't necessarily intend for it to happen. Two people get into a fight in a bar. One punches the other. Either the punch kills them, or knocks them down, they strike their head and die, or in the process of the argument, they have a heart attack. Or you're horsing around and it's completely accidental. There was no decision. An accident took place. Would that count? No. Second-degree murder is you are doing something. There is a conflict. There is a tension. There is something that has brought two people together and not in a good way. And one dies. That's second-degree murder. Manslaughter is when you really did not intend for it to happen at all. Like I was talking about, horsing around. Knock somebody down, you hit them too hard, you're playing football, you break their neck, you're wrestling, horsing around in a backyard at a barbecue. That would be manslaughter. A death has resulted. It was not intended. Now, in manslaughter, there is vehicular manslaughter. You're driving recklessly, driving drunk. You are distracted. Some way or another, you use your car to hit another car, to hit a pedestrian. Somebody dies. You did not at any point intend for that to happen. But there was a certain amount of recklessness on your part. That's manslaughter. Accidental death, you're driving down the road, car cuts you off, bike comes out of nowhere, a child goes running across the street, a pedestrian steps off the crosswalk. It's an accident. That is an accidental death. Then manslaughter or second-degree murder can come into play when negligence has taken place. You were supposed to look after an elderly relative. You were supposed to look after a sick relative. You were supposed to do something you didn't do. You didn't make sure they got proper medical attention. You didn't make sure they ate. You didn't make sure they were in a safe situation. Negligence and carelessness on your part. That's another type of second-degree murder. So there are all these various things that S.H.A.U.N will suggest to you as you're trying to come up with a plot for your murder mystery. Is it a suicide? Is it a homicide? Is it accidental, undetermined, or natural? Only you can decide. Tell S.H.A.U.N I said hi.